We were about 960 grand in the hole. Moved in with my mum and dad, and we stayed there for about 2 years. It was shit. It was really tough.
Last year, ballpark figure, how much revenue were you making?
7.5 to 8 million. Normally I'll start my day at 4.
7 days a week?
7 days a week, yeah.
Sorted
You
each
got
other.
Fush here, and you got Joe's Garage up here. What was it that made you transition from being a teacher to business owning?
You know, they just hated kids. Like, why do you do this? So I was like, this is not me. And she said, what do you want to do? I said, I think I want to have a crack at owning a business.
For those out there that working 9 to 5 want to transition to business, what would be their first step?
If someone said that to me,
In this video, we met Anton, owner of multiple restaurants in New Zealand, making $8 million in revenue per year, as he reveals how he managed to get out of being $1 million in debt. We share unfiltered stories from real entrepreneurs to lead you to achieve your dreams. No fluff, no bullshit, unboxing entrepreneurship.
Hey, g'day Anton. Can you tell us who you are, what you do?
My name's Anton and I'm a business owner. We call ourselves Hustle Group.
Yep.
With my daughter, our youngest. We have a few cafes and restaurants and a catering business, a food truck. So that keeps me pretty busy.
And how many restaurants do you own?
We have a business called Fush, and we have
Yep.
3 Fush outlets. One is a dine-in and a takeaway restaurant, one's just a takeaway, and one's kind of a hybrid restaurant and bar. Fush also has a food truck as well, so like a mobile version. We also are proud owners of Joe's Garage in Wigram, which is a franchise business.
Right.
We also have a catering company called Tato Tato. We also do some pretty cool things like send frozen meals down to the ice down in Antarctica for people who are down there doing work.
Obviously that requires a lot of staff.
Yep.
How many do you have on the payroll at the moment?
We're at around about 65, 70 staff.
Last year, ballpark figure, how much revenue were you making?
Across all of our businesses currently is around 7.5 to 8 million.
It's currently 7 a.m.
Yep.
What is your daily routine like? Because your day doesn't usually start at 7, does it?
No, it
Starts a
doesn't,
little bit earlier.
Normally I'll start my day at 4.
7 days a week?
7 days a week, yeah. And I don't mind it, you know, it's quite nice. It's peaceful at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
No one else is awake. I get a lot done, and that's primarily the reason why. So it's a good opportunity for me to reply to emails, get on top of those little admin jobs, and just kind of set myself up for success for the day. Like a standard work day for me is, you know, I wake up at 4, between 7 and 8, which is kind of where we are now. That's kind of lunch boxes.
Lunch boxes?
Yeah, getting everyone ready to get out the door.
Yeah.
And I pretty much don't stop working from 8 o'clock until, you know, at least 5, 6 at night.
And that includes weekends as well?
Yeah, 7 days, bro.
Yeah.
I have for the last 10 years. It's not weird to me. It's
Yep.
weird to a lot of people, but it's just how I roll. I enjoy work.
What are you making today? Sandwiches?
Oh yeah, just sandwiches, fruit, some potato chips, maybe a few treats to, you know, something to look forward to. Just a little bit.
Oh, Anton, where are we off to right now?
so just leaving home, typically my day will start with a morning routine, have a coffee, catch up with the team there, probably smash out some admin, put out any fires if there are any. Typically there isn't.
So speaking of staff,
Yep.
are you responsible for the hiring of them?
It's important to me. Like, I feel like it's a place where I can afford to spend money and my time, because having the right staff is critical. Remember what's that saying, one bad apple spoils the bunch. So as far as things that I need to prioritize and spend time on, hiring staff is one of them. I don't ever want to be an owner who doesn't know the names of all of our staff.
Is there a trait or something you look for?
It sounds cliche, but
Yep.
you know, attitude is so important. When I say good attitude or positive attitude, there's like 100 micro skills that make up a positive person.
Yeah.
But ultimately, the kinds of people that we want to find, people who are positive. I'm really big on problem solving. Like, I don't want someone who just comes with problems. I want people who come with solutions.
Where are we pulled up to right now?
So we're at the Landing, which is where 2 of our businesses are based, Joe's Garage and Fush.
Is that your food truck over
There's
there?
a food truck hanging
Yeah,
out over there.
nice.
That's going out later on tonight. So yeah, everything, there's a lot of business that we do kind of in this 500 meter radius. So I spend a lot of time down here, understandably.
Really close by, hey?
Oh, dude, yeah, right next door to
You
each
got
other.
Fush here,
Yeah, in Joe's Garage.
and you got Joe's Garage up here.
Yeah, the staff support each other. If these guys are getting slammed, someone will pop over and give them a hand for 5-10 minutes. Do run the floor or walk the floor and
Yeah.
clean some dishes, and vice versa. Yeah, it's cool. We're one team, one dream,
Sweet,
one fun.
man. Let's do it. What's the game plan from here?
Game plan from here, every Wednesday I put out a blog. I'm just tidying it up now and
Yep.
post it up once it's done. That's one of the things that I do on Wednesday, is just make sure I get that piece of content out. It's a bit of a non-negotiable. And then just check in with the staff. If there's something that needs addressing, I'll address it.
Currently at Joe's Garage.
Yep.
Now, is this the first one you've owned?
No, it's not. We actually had another Joe's back in 2012, 2012, and that was kind of our first real business, I suppose. And that was shortly after the earthquakes here in Christchurch, 2010, 2011. There was a lot of earthquake damage out there, and so we kind of got that for a pretty good price. But it also reflected the risk. Eventually purchased the building that it was in. But shortly before we did that, we opened this one, coming up 10 years now. What was cool about this one was it went from being just this old airfield to being this kind of residential development in a little community. And we were the first business to open. So we opened before anyone else did, before the supermarket even. When we opened, the people that were living here in Wigram were so damn grateful that they had somewhere to go. And what that meant was that from the day we opened, we were pretty busy. And then in about 2016, we were so busy that we were turning people away for like good chunks of the week. We just couldn't squeeze them in. And so we decided to open a new business across the road called Fush. And, Joe's Garage is a franchise. And so effectively you're given the playbook, you're given the menus, the operation of the business is kind of set up for you. You just have to deliver and execute, create a really great team culture and do what we're telling you is going to work, and like you'll be successful. So it's a great way to learn the business. But what I learned about myself is that I'm a pretty creative guy, and I have a lot of creative energy that I want to kind of get out, and being part of a franchise doesn't always enable you to do that. And so when we decided to open a new business, the question was, well, do we do what we already know, which is Joe's, or do we do something completely different? And the decision was to do something completely different. And so we started Fush, which is effectively an upmarket fish and chip. We didn't have a website, we didn't have a name, we didn't have a logo. Everything that I had sort of taken for granted as being part of a franchise, I recognised and learned very quickly what I needed to do. But that was fun. I enjoyed that.
Yeah,
it was
right.
Great learning.
You enjoy that challenging aspect
totally.
of it.
It sucked at the time because I was like, I don't know how to do this, but but the feeling that you get when you figure it out is cool. And then we also we went and had an opportunity to go into the CBD in Christchurch. But I actually had a guy who I'd worked with for about 10 years at that stage. He was a manager working in our business, an employee, and he said to me, like, I'm really keen to kind of take the next step and be a business owner. I see how hard you work and how hard it is. How would you feel about partnering together? And I said, yeah, that's a good idea. In the end, we went in there way underprepared. We didn't have the capital behind us. We didn't have the legal stuff behind us. Cut a very long story short, it didn't work out. So we sold it, but we dug ourselves a massive financial hole. It was just shy of $1 million, really. We were about 960 grand in the hole. That was a pretty shit year for us.
How did it feel going from that down to, suddenly finding yourself nearly $1 million in the hole?
Pretty humbling. Yeah, pretty humbling. I mean, you learn a lot about yourself in those moments. I thought I was way better than I was. I had a lot to learn. A lot of people telling me like, oh man, you're so good, and this is really cool, and we love what you do, and you start to believe that hype. And then all of those people that were like your biggest cheerleaders, when shit hits the fan,
see you later,
they're gone. And the ones that stick around are your ride or dies, and those people are the ones that you just got to hold on to and never let go of. My wife and I, we had 2 kids at that time. We moved out of our house, moved in with my mum and dad, and we stayed there for about 2 years.
With the whole family? The
whole family, yeah. They did a lot for us, man. They paid for everything. They basically bankrolled us for a couple of years. But meanwhile, Jess and I, as well as others in the business, were working really, really hard. My sister Maya, everyone took a pay cut. Jess and I went to zero, and we just worked our asses off for 2 years. Massive hours, learned a lot. So the most difficult part, one of the most difficult times of my life in many respects, but also the most learning. And I'm so glad it happened in my, I think, late 20s at that stage, rather than in my late 50s. I got to learn those lessons early in my career, and we came through it. We're so much better for it.
So do you think it was like a blessing in disguise?
You can look at that 2 ways, right? When you're in a really shitty situation, you can kind of go, well, this is terrible, and kind of throw the towel in and give up. Or you can go, well, this sucks, but let's grind through it, let's work it out. And then when you look back at it retrospectively, it's like, man, look at all the things I've learned. Holy shit, I'm going to make so much more money now having gone through that. So that's kind of how I choose to look at that time. It was shit. It was really tough. And
what was your backup plan?
So before I got into business, I was teaching.
Yeah, so let's touch on that. So previously a teacher, what was it that made you transition from being a teacher to business owning? I had a really bad experience with a teacher who was my mentor, and we just didn't vibe. We clashed, and she just made my life pretty difficult. And I was like, all good, I'm out. And I was going to go work in a different school, and I actually had a job lined up. But I said to Jess, my wife, I was like, I don't want to go back. And she said, well, what do you want to do? I've always loved business. I said, I think I want to have a crack at owning a business, and I love hospo. Let's do that. I know that space. Probably didn't have an appreciation for how difficult it was at that point. But ignorance is bliss, is what they say. I went in, all the enthusiasm in the world, and we just figured it out. I could have gone back to teaching, but I didn't want to. I had the attitude of some of the people that I was working with. They just hated kids. They were so toxic in the staff room. I was like, why do you guys do this? You hate your students. Like, why do you do this?
So it was just sucking the energy out of me, man. So I was like, this is not me. If this is what I'm going to turn into, I don't want to be there. And it was one of the best decisions I ever made. And it's taken me probably 10 years to be open about being motivated to make money. People are really reluctant to talk about making money. That's why I get up early and that's why I work hard, is because I'm trying to create wealth for my family. I'm trying to retire my parents. I'm trying to retire my in-laws. I can't do that through a salary.
Yeah.
The only path that I have in front of me at the moment is to create a really successful business that pumps out, a decent profit. In order to figure that out, that's rare. So it's not meant to be easy.
Yeah,
of course
exactly.
It's going to be hard. My goal of, having a business that turns over 10 million and $1 million pops out there. And we're not there yet. So I've got to figure it out. How fucking exciting is that?
When you work that hard, how do you have time to have a social life and all that? Or do you just not have one?
It depends what you mean by social life, man. I love hanging out with my kids. I love hanging out with my wife. I have friends, but the kind of friends that I keep understand what I do. If I don't see them for 6 months and then I say, let's catch up. I got some time, let's catch up. Then I go, thanks for making time for me. Those aren't the friends that I keep. It's just I'm busy, you're busy. When it works, let's catch up. But if I don't see you for 6 months, don't take it personally. I just got some other things going on. And they get it and I get it. And those are the kind of people that I try to surround myself with. So most of my social life is with my family. I love my kids. I really genuinely enjoy hanging out with them.
Where are we off to right now?
We are just going to head down to our catering kitchen.
Yeah.
We've got a little wee office off to the side there. We used to actually have an office down here, but it was far too flash for what we needed. It's only 5 or 6 minutes down the road and it's perfectly fine, does the job. So that's where we're off to now.
Easy. Flush truck over there, does that just live there, does it?
Yeah, well, wherever we can kind of find space for it, but we pay for this car park and all the prep gets done in the restaurant and gets brought out here. And yeah, it's a great add-on to the business, another income stream.
Where did you find the money to buy that first Joe's Garage franchise?
It's bittersweet, but my grandmother passed away. She had a couple of kids, and once her sort of estate was settled, there was about 40 grand that came to mum and dad, and they decided that they were going to give each of their kids 10 grand each. When we kind of thought, 10 grand's a lot of money, but in real terms, we had a leaky roof at the time at our house.
Yeah.
We would have blown it all on that. And I thought that's a pretty underwhelming kind of legacy. My grandmother worked hard her whole life, and I thought, maybe we can do something a bit more special with this money. And so we decided to pool all of our money together as a whānau, and we purchased a business. And that was how we got into our first business.
Was it difficult to kind of convince the family to all agree to that?
Not the family, no. And mum and dad, I think, saw how much I was not enjoying teaching. They saw how excited I was about getting into this. They'd seen me work in restaurants and cafes and bars for the last 5 or so years, so they knew I was passionate about it. They just backed me. They never asked the question, which I'm grateful for. Maybe they should have, but they didn't. We're rolling up on our catering business. All of our catering gets made out of here, and then we transport them down the road.
Man,
let's go.
Check it out.
Come on in, bro. I've just got my friend with me, but don't worry. It's a wee unused corner of our office. Some fake plants, a few lights, a couple of comfy seats.
No, it's pretty cool, man. It's a pretty sweet setup.
Oh, thanks,
got the
bro.
mood lighting and everything.
Yeah.
Going into business with family, there's going to be some points we have difficult conversations. How do you go about that? Is it a bit different when it's with family compared to, say a mate or business partner?
I think sometimes we can be a bit more harsh. Yeah, so there are definitely things that I say to my sister, who I'm in business with, and to my wife, because we're business partners, that I wouldn't probably say if they weren't my whānau, which is probably unfair. I probably hold them to a much higher standard, and I hope that they hold me to a much higher standard. But yeah, I think that's probably one of the reasons why it doesn't work out for a lot of families that are in business with each other, is because
gets in the way of your personal life.
Oh man, being in business is hard.
Yeah.
And it requires having really difficult conversations, and we've been in business now for over 10 years together, so I can read the temperature in the room, and they know if I'm upset, I know if they're upset. If we've got to talk about it, we just talk about it. And you have to have difficult conversations, and you have to be honest with each other. If we're having a conversation about business, it's not about your idea or my idea, it's about what's best for the business. If you can't have those conversations, it's probably not going to work out.
In terms of financial advice, what's some of the best advice that you've personally taken on board?
Well, when it comes to money, revenue or sales or income is just a vanity number. If you're turning over 5 million, 10 million, 100 million, it's just a number. What really matters and what enables you to sleep at night is, are you profitable? When we had a business that was turning over $1 million, that felt like a really big accomplishment. But actually, if it's costing you $1 million and $1 to turn over $1 million, you've gone backwards. It's cost you $1 to be in business.
So for those out there that maybe are working 9 to 5, they want to transition to business, what would be their first step?
If someone said that to me, I've got a really good, stable job, I'm earning a good salary, but I want to go and be in business, I'd probably challenge them first of all and say, why? If hypothetically their answers were really, really good and I go, yep, you're doing this for the right reasons. I mean, growing a business is about two parties voluntarily exchanging goods and services for money. So it's like, what have I got to sell you? And if I had no money, then I would start by selling a service. And you're going to exchange money so that you can buy back time to do other things that you want to do. What is something that you don't want to do that I'm prepared to do for a price? But it's pretty low leverage, right? Slightly higher leverage is I'm going to do something for you that you don't know how to do. I'm going to create a website because you don't know how to do it, because that doesn't cost any money. That's just my time. And when you don't have a job or a business, then you do have time. You may not have a whole bunch of money, but you've got your time. Now you might say to me, oh, well, I'm already working 40 hours a week, so I don't have time. I go, well, if you don't find time, then this is not going to move forward. Like, you're going to have to work double time for a wee while, either in the weekends, early morning, late nights. And then when you've got a little bit of money coming in, like you've built a couple of websites in your own time, then maybe you can go, instead of doing 5 days a week, maybe you can pull back to 4. Now that you pull back to 4, you've got a whole day to go out there and sell more websites. And then eventually you take that leap of faith, you go, I'm building enough websites now that I can afford to step completely out of that and just go all in on this website thing. The next question is like, I want to build it to a stage where I can bring someone in to build the websites for me so that I can step back and I can go out there and work on sales and bring in more clients. And that's how you build a business. But if I was going to say to someone, you know, who wanted to start their own business, I would say, keep your job for now. Yeah. Because you need that security. You still got to pay the bills, you still got to pay rent and mortgage or power or whatever, and be prepared to work some long hours while you figure this out. Because it's not easy. If it was easy, you know, that old saying, if it was easy, everyone would do it. Yeah, and you got to learn how to sell. You can be the best website builder in the world. If you have terrible interpersonal skills, no one's going to want to come work for you. So there's a whole nother skill set that you have to build. That's why I say it's difficult. And if you don't believe in the concept of marketing, well then, like, how are you going to tell people about what you do? If no one knows about it, how do you think they're going to discover you and exchange money for your goods and services? If that stuff doesn't get you excited, learning marketing, learning sales, then business is not for you.
Got to be a jack of all trades.
You have to appreciate that running a good website business is not just about building websites. Running a good restaurant is not about making the best coffee and the best bacon and eggs. There's so many other moving parts.
Looking at your own ambition now with the Hustle Group, say 5 to 10 years time from now, where do you want it to be? What is your goal?
By the end of this year, I want us to be on the road to a $10 million per annum run rate. I think it's about $833K a month. That's the goal. 5 years, 10 million will become 20 million, which will soon become 50 million, and then who knows? I want to be happy, man. Like, I want my kids to think I'm Superman. I want my wife to think I'm awesome and to think I'm a good person. And I want our business to be able to provide enough money so that everyone gets what they want and what they need.
I mean, in terms of, say, success, for you, is that just a monetary figure?
No, it's not.
Or is it more than that?
Nah, it's not that. You know, people say money doesn't buy happiness. Haven't been poor enough, because I'm pretty sure there's a whole bunch of people that are living well below the poverty line who, if you said money doesn't buy happiness, would probably punch you in the face. It's a real privilege to be able to say money doesn't buy happiness. Money's not the only thing that buys you happiness, of course. Yeah. You know, there's another saying that I often reflect on, and people say when you're healthy, you have a million problems. When you're sick, you have one. But yeah, no, for me, I want to get the most out of life. I want to look after the people that matter most to me. And a lot of the ways that I can look after them, I can do using money. It's utility, it's a resource that I can use to purchase the things that will help the people around me. It's not the only thing, but it's a big part.
Someone that's starting a business today, what will be your one piece of advice to them?
Just start, man, because I think we spend so much time trying to plan, trying to create the perfect product. We spend so much time on the logo and the name and the website, and all of that stuff is important, but it's actually not as important as just trying and starting. And then you're going to go, I either made the sale or I didn't. If I didn't, why didn't I? What would I do differently next time? You're just going to learn so much by just starting. So if someone's got an idea, you know, don't bet it all on this idea. Don't leave your job. Don't move to another country just to give it a go. I would say start small, but just start. Yeah, I reckon if someone wants to start a business, just understand what you're getting into. It's difficult, it's a lot of work, but if it's important to you, just start, just do it and figure it out along the way.
Cool. Oh, I appreciate it, man. Thanks very much.
No, thank you for the opportunity, bro. It's great.